2 million dead pine trees in the state of Mississippi to make people realize there was a purpose and a need.
And, of course, now we've got this whole business with the ash borers, and Cornell is they're on it. They're out there collecting again for a new propagation system from the ash trees that are not infected. And, of course, that's what researchers do. You know, we've got to get out there and see what's left and what you can do with it. So I think that that's a good project.
That's going to be a fun one to watch because there's, you know, it started out, it was just rumors, and then all of a sudden it's everywhere.
Well, sometimes you just have to look up, you know.
Yeah, you do.
See what's around.
Yeah, it's like when you're in the big box store, if you can't find what you want, look at the top shelf. It's probably there.
Oh, that's good advice. I like that.
Great advice. Always look up, you know.
Good morning, Paula from Dentville. Hope things are going well in your world today. I have like just gone deep into Larry Stevenson's Apple list, so if our friends up in Oxford are still looking for apple variety suggestions, we can pass that on today. What you got going on, Mark?
Well, you know, lo and behold, it took me 3 weeks to get all my leaves to the street.
You have a lot of leaves. I will say. It's not that he's lazy. It's that there's a lot of leaves.
It's just too many. I'll never forget the day you looked at me and said, "You can't possibly compost all this."
Well, we would need another field. You know, when they originated windrow composting in India, it was for vast acreages.
Yeah,
and that's what you have to do. You need another field the size of your property.
So the story goes, I go running home in a deluge yesterday because somebody challenged me to make a list. And I thought, well, in 30 minutes, can I run home, grab a sandwich, and make a list? And I'm like, sure you can. Fly in. I send somebody, you know who, a list. Get back in the truck, head back to work. And I look up and I'm like, they're gone. I didn't even, it was raining so hard I didn't even realize. And my poor little St. Augustine grass is kind of lime green because they were there for, you know, a little too long. But
you did have a good ground cover going there, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, I'm going to sock a little, you know, something to it and get it to green on back up because, you know, St. Augustine in central Mississippi doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't. It'll slow down for a minute, but that's about all.
You know, we have to.
And it does bring us to a logical topic for January, which is there will still be cold weather.
Yes.
But not everything, you know, you can't predict when or what. So we still have to go on with our January tasks, even though it might be cold today and warm tomorrow. There's still a lot to do.
There is plenty.
Can't get into that waiting pattern.
No,
I'm ready to prune myself.
Exactly. You know, I need to get out there to those 8-foot sasanquas and do it the right time of year. I might have not done that last year. I don't remember. But
sasanquas are tough. They bloom for weeks and weeks.
Yes.
And then by the time they're finished blooming, so you can prune them, it's Christmas. And you got 17 other things to do.
Right.
So they kind of get overlooked some years. You're right.
And, of course, you know, I have the issue of while you're pruning, don't cut the Mardi Gras lights in half. You know.
Oh, well, now that's a whole nother
issue. That's a whole nother
thing.
A whole nother
sure.
issue. Yeah, my purple looks a little blue, but I've got on my Mardi Gras
You're very
colors
purpled out today. You're doing well without that.
Thank you.
There's king cake for breakfast here, so.
I'm waiting for my first one.
Y'all are well. I'm old school. I basically like, you know, cinnamon and yeast and whatnot, and there's sugar in there, of course, and there's sugar sprinkles on top of it. But all y'all in the filled up category of the king cakes, to me, that's more like a Danish, you know, and so I have to really think about that. But king cake, I can just go slice off a piece like it was toast.
I have made the mistake of venturing too far out of the norm, and it didn't end so well. But, you know, to each his own.
That's right. Well, and it's a very popular thing. It's one of those, once you discover that there's somebody making them in your area, which they're now all over the South, you know, so it's just a fun way to go and have a little treat that you didn't have before.
Yes.
all those pictures, everybody's, it's January, we need to get our resolutions done, we need to do this and we need to do that. And in the South, we're like, oh, it's January, we get to turn the corner, that's good. We don't sit by the fire and read seed catalogs in the South in the
No.
winter.
Absolutely not.
We do that in August, but we sit by the pool and read the seed catalogs.
Look, last night at 10 o'clock, I'm out by
Oh,
the
fun.
pool in a T-shirt, shorts.
And today
And
it's sweatshirt
flip-flops.
weather.
Yeah,
Yep.
now today.
That's how fast it changes. That's why our plants
quick.
are so tough.
Exactly. They have
You
to
know,
be.
it's,
And the people are too. Although,
You're right.
What was it, a week ago, 10 days ago, when it plunged down to, 20 something? I find it pretty amusing. People just go into total shock.
yeah, nobody wants to go outside.
No, no, they don't.
It's true.
And it's
Not
like,
even the dogs.
it amazes me that anybody in the South owns a fur coat, but
But well, some of them do though.
if you want to see it, let it get
I
down
have
to
to
30.
tell you, I had a computer disaster malfunction yesterday, so the newsletter could not go out. But I will have email again here in the next day or so, and I'll be able to send it out. It's a good newsletter, I got to tell you, because I've been talking about seeds and one thing and another, trying to get ready for what we're doing now. And I apologize for my. Well, I just apologize for my tech. Sometimes tech lets you down. Today it let me down.
Those things
Today
happen.
Today's National Oyster Rockefeller Day. Are you ready for lunch?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Absolutely.
Why do we talk about spinach? That really wasn't spinach in the first place, But now it is, and it's a delicious dish. But we can talk about that if anybody's in the mood today.
I mean, that sounds good for breakfast.
Would be for me.
Yeah,
but,
it would be for me, too.
You know,
I saw from one of our friends at a nursery in Wesson, Brookhaven, the funniest Facebook post.
oh my goodness.
Her challenge to everybody, and we can bring that same challenge. I don't think she'd mind at all. Was send me a picture showing me you're a houseplant nut without having to explain it.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I did. Donna's really getting into some social media this
It is-
spring at
it
Buds
was
and Blooms.
hilarious.
That's really fun. Great nursery, by the way, if you haven't been. But it is true. Today is National Houseplant Appreciation Day, and for everybody
Yes.
who's looking at theirs with bugs on them or wishing they had fertilized them or anything, today's the day to take some action. These plants are, generally speaking, a little tougher than they might look.
Yes. Yes.
Give
And-
yourself a chance to take care of them.
And if you didn't put a little Osmocote in them when you brought them in the house or put them away for the winter, you might want to do that.
Oh, yeah. Even if
know.
you did, it's been several months,
Yeah, give them some groceries.
See all of these? You got all of these really nifty, spiffy little house plants growing in there, and the pots are not large,
No.
but they can go a long way on a small root system if you just give them the slightest amount of fertilizer. I really like your, that's a variegated rubber tree.
Rubber tree, that's-
and that's
I
a
love
plant
that
that people
plant.
don't think about.
I love that.
Okay, y'all, we have brought Mark into the world of dumpster diving for plants. I didn't do this. I just illustrated it. What are you doing? You never do that. You never go get the poinsettias from the dumpster.
I had a weak
We're
moment.
looking at supertalk.tv, y'all, so come join us over there.
So, I was circling the neighborhood waiting to have lunch with you and Lance, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this flash of red next to a blue dumpster. And it's a couple of weeks after Christmas, and there they sat.
They're still alive.
And they still had the little foil hats they were in
Of
were
course.
full of water.
Yeah, that's the biggest mess.
So I felt the need to try it. I've always talked, not bad, but thought it was humorous that people kept poinsettias. So
You've laughed at me a few times.
I have, but I'm going to try it.
He even used the poinsettia.
Poinsettia.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was-
dear.
The
Oh,
Ed
dear.
McMahon, Johnny Carson debate for 2 decades, maybe.
Yes.
That's it.
Poinsettia or
But so
poinsettia?
now we have to figure out what we're going to name him, because I'm going to join them into one. And he's going to have a name.
We'll have to have,
You
it's
know.
Romulus and Remus or something. They'll have to be
I could
twin
call
names.
him Refuge.
That's not very kind.
Well,
Jeff is weighing in today with a beautiful collection. Lance, I think you're being challenged now in the
Oh.
sunflower world. Jeff's got his
Good.
heirloom
Need
sunflower seeds
competitions.
that have arrived, and that is a beautiful collection.
that is fun.
He's going to put them around the garden border, both for color and for pollinator attractions. That's gorgeous. I love it.
That is one of the fastest, most satisfying seed you will ever buy in your life.
That's
If
true.
you can just keep the animals from eating it, right?
Yeah,
Well, there is that, yeah.
I think I sent
you have
Lance
to-
one of those photos too that we can talk about today. I've had a very
Today is squirrel anger season.
man.
They're hungry too. What can I tell you? The fact that they're going to eat your plants, that's kind of part of it. Let's see. Fred's on the North Slope in Madison County. What causes camellias to have black leaves? Good one.
Yeah, the city mold.
Yep.
City
Which
mold.
could be the result of any number of insects. But what's he supposed to do about that?
Well, first of all, try to pinpoint the insect so you can possibly treat, and this time of year, use a little neem oil. There are
I'm all
other,
for that.
yeah, horticulture oil. It's a good time of year to do it. It's not too hot.
That's right.
Try to kind of suffocate that insect and hopefully get some of that city mold to loosen up. I don't
Well, if
suggest
your relatives are coming or you're showing the house or something, you can
Yeah.
always go take a little soapy water and wash
Soapy
the
water.
sooty mold off.
now.
Now, that won't cure the problem because you do have an insect issue or you wouldn't be having this.
Back
So,
when the crepe myrtle park scale explosion happened, there were certain individuals going around with pressure washers, selling the service
Yeah.
to clean your crepe myrtles. I don't suggest a pressure washer. That's a little much.
The idea was that before they actually knew what they were looking at, people did think that it was still just sooty mold.
Yeah.
And I realized that some people got taken advantage of a little bit because, of course, 6 months later, it just all grew back.
Right.
You ended up with with more of the crepe myrtle bark scale because it didn't do anything to it. It just removed the actual evidence. So
yeah.
it's a thing. I'm still going to say crepe myrtles are recoverable from those problems, but if you're not devoted to that particular tree and it's not a focal point in your landscape, plant something else. You're going to be treating that tree the rest of your life and its.
Yeah.
You really don't want to do that, in my opinion. That's just me. But
Well, I think a lot of people in our world have that opinion, but convincing, the population.
sure.
I've
Sure.
made that suggestion to people before, and they're just dead set.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay.
There are people that are very attached to individual trees, and we oftentimes, as gardeners, let's face it, we think we can do anything.
Oh,
Okay?
Yeah.
We think we can take that plant that the squirrel ate half of and turn it into kale or whatever that was, whatever it started out as.
I'm
And
telling
it might, it may just get pruned and sprout, but, it does not look good. It doesn't look like it's going to go forward.
No.
So,
No.
Well, we're going to have some freezy temps coming this week, Garden Mama and
Yes,
Peaches.
sir.
In your zone down on the coast and here, obviously, those are kind of the ones that you never know. It's on the edge sometimes. Obviously, North Mississippi always seems to, when you think there's going to be a freeze, there's going to be a freeze.
there's going to be.
But it looks like as of Sunday night here in the central area, around 28 would be the low on Monday night as well. Then you get a couple of days maybe of above freezing in the evening and then kind of flip-flopping around. What is the best way with this, kind of flip-flopping with right above freezing and at freezing and right below? What's the best thing to do for folks as they prepare for this week?
It kind of depends on what plants you're worrying about.
Yeah.
If you have planted trees and shrubs in the last 4 months, you certainly want to make sure that they've been watered because they've had plenty of rain, but you want to make sure they got mulch around them and that they're not going to fill up with so much water and cold that they drown. And you're trying to just keep things a little bit moderate. What else, Mark?
Wow. Yeah, that kind of dip on outdoor plants. I've got, like she says, it depends on what you're trying to protect. I have a weird situation where I have 30-gallon palm trees that are not cold hardy. So I'll be lightly covering
That's a
some
challenge.
things. It is a challenge. You know, and
You have curtains for that?
actually, I have
You
a
would have to,
collection
wouldn't you?
of king-size sheets in the camouflage pattern and some small lamps. And I,
Oh, we need that video.
oh,
Yeah, I
can
want to
do
see
it.
this setup.
I want to see this
It's
when
kind of
you
like the
go out.
Beverly Hillbillies, but,
And then
but covering plants. So
I use, you know, the artificial lit trees that we use for our decorations. I set them next to the palm trees and then drape it over them.
okay.
Ah, there you
That's
go.
your teepee, frame, so to speak.
And well, and then I put a small lamp under there. And I mean, all of this sounds like it could be dangerous, and I totally understand it could be. But when they're that big, they don't look good in the living room.
Well,
And-
no, and they're not going to live in the living room for
And you
very
know,
long
we're
anyway.
bumping on. I've had these babies for a year, so why not? We're almost over the hump. If we can get through February and at half of March, it's spring here. Come
Well,
on.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. What kind of palm is it?
There's some Robellinis.
Okay.
That
Well,
we're
they have
protecting.
a chance. They can make it.
Yeah, you know, as long
Now,
as
if you're looking for hardy palms, they may not be as big as Mark's, but you can certainly always grow sable palms and palmettos and windmill palms. I mean,
Pindo.
those things are hardy.
Yeah,
As
pindo.
far as Memphis
right.
and pindo, yeah, sure.
But other
But
than
when
that,
you get into Washingtonias and whatnot, you got to be a little bit more
yeah,
careful.
yes. But yeah, because I am a palm tree lover, you know. But there's most of the stuff in the yard. I'm not going to worry about at 28 at all. You know, I might slide the lemon back in the house, and the rest of it,
Just so you don't knock the fruit off.
Yeah,
or the
gonna-
flowers.
I'm going to say a little prayer.
This sweet olive tree has been pretty resilient. It
Oh yeah,
got chopped down basically by dog teeth. It grew back out of the side.
Speaking of
unlike
pruning.
unlike the fig tree that he ate, but is there some reason that the sweet olive seems to be very hardy? Is there a temp that I really need to worry about it if it dips below? It's okay.
If it's going to be 20 degrees for a week, you need to do something
Yeah.
about it. Otherwise, that thing's fine.
Okay.
yeah. You
It's
can
lived
run
this far.
You can run over a sweet olive with a bulldozer, and it'll be back in 6
We'll
months.
take
We're
out
going
a
to
life
talk about
insurance
Jackie's
policy on this one.
azaleas when we come back.
Yes,
and,
ma'am.
Check into some Star Trek stuff that's here and see what else is going on. Stick around. We'll be back. I could hear that before it even started.
I had to glue that one together.
That's right.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh my goodness! Welcome in, y'all. I got my headphones on too tight. This morning, Mark Peaches Patrick is here on the Garden Mama Show with me, and of course with Lance. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to hear us. Thank you, Lance. Good questions coming in on the text line. Take this one, Mark. Jackie and Brandon says my azaleas are looking a little spotty yellow. What is
Yes.
it? Can I spray now? What's going on? Help her out.
Well, that is actually last year's lace bug damage, most likely.
Probably, yeah.
Yes. So you can go ahead and treat them now because the lace bugs aren't going to actually start till what, early spring,
Yeah.
summer when they start
And
in.
of course, we just don't know how fast the weather warms up.
So
But they're there now.
Yeah, they're there.
Working. So,
So-
this is the oil thing. You know?
yeah, that's that whole horticultural oil, neem oil, dormant oil. But what you're seeing, you're not going to reverse. That damage was done to the leaf last year.
That's exactly right.
So if
What do you think about iron in the winter?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a
Sometimes that
great
yellowing
idea.
can be
Yes.
helped a little bit. It doesn't cure the problem, but it does help kind of boost things a little bit, I think. That
You know,
chelated iron.
If you will get all you need is one bag for a lifetime of ironite. Brace yourself.
Share it with your neighbors.
Brace yourself. You're going to be shocked when you see how expensive it is.
Well, yeah,
There's a
but only
warning
one.
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, share it. It's an investment. You know, gardenias,
Mm-hmm.
azaleas, all those things. That iron is really going to turn that foliage around. Your new foliage is going to be way more vibrant than it would if you don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the label
God.
directions and maybe dial it back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I think that we oftentimes reserve iron for basically for chlorosis. In other words, if the veins
Yeah.
on the leaf are green and the rest of the leaf is yellow. But it really does help with all of those acid-loving shrubs. It helps make everything else more available to them that you're either already have in the ground or that will be available to them later. So
Yes.
I think it's a good idea. But I wasn't sure how you felt about it. You do more of that than I do. So
When I was in the retail world, that was those questions, about yellowing leaves. That was almost always the first place you took them. And if they had sticker shock or didn't want to dive into the iron world, then you took them to another,
right, another way to build up the organic matter
another
and
one,
thus
yeah,
shift
yeah.
the pH a little bit. Yeah, gotcha.
It's basically like starting at the top shelf and then working your way down.
We're getting names now. We've got
I love
Dumpster
it.
Dan for your poinsettia. That's
It's-
a good one. Thank
It's
you,
official.
JR.
It's official. I even text SuperTalk a photo of him in his new home,
I love that.
all tucked away.
This is the flowering maple cuttings that were planted. And they're under the grow light. Some of the leaves have developed white edges. Yes, I'm sure they have.
Yes.
It's dry in there, and if it was me and I'm looking at this particular plant, I'm probably going to, because the top leaves are pretty, I'm probably going to put something like a little plastic drape over it to increase the humidity around this plant
yes.
just for a couple of weeks, and I think you'll see it'll even out. It's not going to go back and turn these green, but it'll keep that damage from progressing and let your new growth come on out.
And that soil looks a little on the dry
It
side.
does look a little dry.
Maybe a little bottom watering on that.
It could be a good idea, because sometimes when we water in clay pots, we don't remember that the pot itself takes a lot of water.
Yes. Maybe a saucer and
They'll suck it up.
Put a little
yeah.
water in there. That's going to help with the humidity
You're right.
and the
you're
and the
right.
moisture both.
This is a beautiful picture of what I think are geraniums. Yeah, that's pretty. Somebody's lit house. That's really nice. Really, really pretty. So nice. Oh, Greg, yeah, here we go. Cherry trees already blooming in Vaughn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't that
That's what-
amazing?
Well, it is what we do. And his question today is, he always fertilizes his blueberries in the summer after harvest, but is there any reason to feed them in the fall? Not if they're doing well, in my opinion. But I think if you want to push them, now's a little too early.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Just a little too
If
early.
you were in, I don't know, if you were in Mobile, you might go ahead
Right.
because it's probably not going to get cold again. But I have a feeling most everywhere else it's going to be, even where I am, it's going to be colder than I would want for blueberries to be trying to put on new growth quite yet.
That's just amazing. Cherry trees blooming already. It happens
Well,
so fast.
Things are so up and down. That's one reason why I'm not worried about Lance's sweet olive.
Right.
Sweet olive's not the toughest plant in the world. You can't. You probably could park a truck on it, but you probably wouldn't want to. I used to say about my mother's daylily, she grew those big old lemon drop things, the
Yes.
old ones. And you literally, they would park the horse trailer on top of that bed every winter.
And they were
They didn't
fine.
care. They
No.
didn't care.
No.
That was that other thing about which ones are evergreen, which ones are semi-evergreen, which ones go completely dormant in the daylily world. Well, the answer is if you park a truck on top of them, they all go dormant. But I don't really advise that.
That's funny.
I just went ahead. I was thinking about seeding things, so I threw in the spicy pepper least hot to most hot point of view today for folks that might want to grab that shot. There are hot peppers, and then there are hot peppers.
Yes.
So just be aware when you're starting to grow some things or starting to look at the plants themselves. Be aware that there are differences.
I had a experience once in Oxford where sat at a bar, and it was like a beer tasting for New Belgium, and we were enjoying the different flights, and one of my friends would bartended, and he goes, "Hey, we got this new pepper," and it was almost a paste. It wasn't like drops. And he goes, "This is the hottest thing anybody has ever tasted." And he stuck a toothpick down in it, and just a little bit got on it, and I put it in my mouth and raked it off like it was covered in Cheese Whiz or something. And he about had a heart attack. He's like, "What are you doing, man?" And it lit me up. And I'm a big fan of spicy food, but
We know.
I've never been lit up like that.
We don't know what kind of pepper
We
this
know.
was,
No
right?
idea what pepper
Do we
that
have
was.
any
I
idea?
don't know if anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, because I've always wanted to play some pranks on people with it. I see no absolute value of eating it other than if you just like to turn beet red.
To hurt people.
A girl came in and she sat down and she was like, "Oh, I love spicy stuff too." And I'm over here crying, drinking milk. And so she took it and did the same thing, and she started crying. I mean, she had to leave and come back. So if anyone knows what that is, like I said, it's like a brown colored paste. And
and you can, when you make a paste with a hot pepper, you're concentrating what that hot pepper already has.
yeah, well, it was.
So if this is ghost pepper or one of the Caribbean habanero version, one of those family members, it's going to be a hot pepper, and no question about that. But for my money, the ghost pepper turns out to be the hottest one.
Okay.
And
That's what I've heard.
it does still have taste to it, but not much. It's mostly just
No,
heat.
just burned tongue.
Yeah.
Here's a couple of fun facts for you, listeners. You think you know Lance? Lance is probably the only person you can feed habaneros to like popcorn.
That's true.
He has no limits. And
His ears turn pink, but other
yeah,
than
yeah.
that,
when you talk
That
about
makes me much cuter.
seeding peppers, everybody that's doing seeds, if you're going to grow peppers, the peppers you're going to see in the garden centers have already been seeded. They take a long time, people. They take a long time.
we want to have, where we're talking about, don't transplant a tomato before you got at least 2 sets of, we need 4 on bell peppers.
4 of them.
For them to be able, and it needs to be in a warm condition. It takes several weeks to get there.
Peppers are slow. That was always something that just amazed me. In the production world, immediately after Christmas, you started sowing peppers to have them ready in mid-March,
That's right.
1st of April.
One of my groups that I follow in the social media world is already having what they call the grow off.
Right.
How tall are your peppers? How tall are your peppers? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, one of my buddies in Oxford, Zach, who's one of our avid listeners and kind of turned me on to growing peppers. He had a great setup in his backyard where it was on a slight little slope. And he had it at one point where he was pumping out so many peppers. It took a few months for it to get going, but once it did, I mean, he was handing them out, to everybody. Like, hey, do you want some peppers? And they were delicious. I learned, whether it would be the habaneros or jalapenos or the cayennes, I loved every one of them. And they all seem to grow about the same speed, even the little bitty ones. It just slow, but once they get going, they seem to really pump out a ton.
Well, and you can put a jalapeno next to a cayenne, and it's almost like they're having a competition.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what he had, is several working together.
Show
in
each
there.
other off.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see
Now,
if we can drive these people nuts.
I will say though that if you want to grow a classic bell pepper, a sweet bell pepper, the yellow one, red one, orange one, green one, whatever it is, that's a whole different ball game.
Yes.
They're harder to grow, they're slower, and quite frankly, they'll drive you crazier.
They will.
In my not so humble opinion.
What is it that makes them so finicky or difficult as far as the bell pepper world?
This is just me. I believe because they've been bred for production over the last 100 years, that their intensity is intended. Their growing is intended for an intense form of production, and so that makes it a difficult. It's not as easy to grow, say, as the hot pepper, which is much closer to its natural roots.
Well, you have to take into consideration the size of a mature bell pepper plant and how large
4 feet tall with 40 fruits on it.
that fruit is on there, and how many are on that plant.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight.
No, and besides that, they've been bred to do that.
Yeah.
So
I
if
mean,
you're
it's
not feeding them and keep going, I mean, you can kind of ignore a hot pepper. It's going to put on it's going to put on some fruit down the way. It's going to bloom when the weather's right and all that sort of thing. But bell peppers really have to have, in my experience, much more attention, more regular fertilizer, more regular water, and quite frankly, a whole lot. I mean, they have a buggy world going on.
Yes.
I see you got daffodils. I
do
noticed
I
all
ever.
your bulbs.
Do I
That's
ever.
wonderful. That's wonderful. It's that time, y'all.
And I pull up to get these daffodils, and there's this crowd of women, and you know who yells, "Oh, look, the mussels are here." So I ended
Not
up.
what you want to hear.
No,
Mark would not like to be known as the muscles, y'all.
No.
Let me just let you know.
but when you're standing in front of 10,000 daffodil bulbs and a group
That's
of
right.
women
That's right.
who are very enthusiastic,
For those of you who are in Mississippi particularly, these are bulbs, of course, that are made available through the Mississippi Urban Forestry Council, rather. I'm sorry, I always get that wrong. And so Donnie Yowell is the person to look for on Facebook if you're interested in participating. It's a wonderful program.
It is.
It produces flowers all over the state.
I met.
When you go to any city and you see daffodils blooming, you know where they came from.
I mean, I was there maybe 30 minutes because I ran into our friend Donna Belich and all these other people.
Yeah.
And I met people from Carthage, Macomb,
Sure.
and here I am, Brandon, Madison. They're
The
all
Greenwood
there.
folks always come. The folks from Brookhaven. It's a
Yes.
big program, and one that I think we all benefit from.
So
I love driving down any road in Mississippi. You can see the clumps of leaves coming up, and then in about another week or so, it's daffodil time. Just such a delight.
later today on my Facebook page, Mark Patrick Peaches, I'm going to post a time and an address, and anybody that wants to come help me dig 500 holes is more than welcome.
Wow.
There'll be a crowd, won't there?
Excuse me. You'll get some assistance, especially after all that rain. It won't be
It's
as
going to
hard
be
to
easy.
do.
It's going to be
Won't
easy.
be as hard to do. We're getting pepper pictures now, y'all. What's the best peppers for pepper sauce? Jeff in Carrollton wants to know. Kind of depends on how hot you like it.
Yeah.
I'm a Tabasco in the vinegar girl, but I like cayenne in an actual sauce.
Anaheim
So-
is a good one, too.
It's another good choice. Good taste. Really
Cayenne
good.
is just a pretty, for me, if you're going for pretty, it's cayenne.
Well, and I like the way cayenne tastes. It's
Yes.
hot, but it's a hot. Here we go into our. This is not the atomic wing competition that we're talking about,
No.
y'all. I know everybody watches that on YouTube or wherever it is, but where you have to answer, you get interviewed and you're eating hot wings all at the same time, and it's pretty hilarious. Talk about drink some milk. Oh my goodness.
I don't know if it's a good idea for these people to be giving Lance ammunition to pull pranks on people.
Yeah, I'm more the prank
You
side
have
of this.
no
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
no
I
idea.
learned from the Mexicans I lived with. The family were
Yeah.
so fun. They would make me a ham sandwich, and for the first couple of weeks, it was always they were so anxious to give me a ham sandwich or make lunch, and I would they'd be sitting over there watching around the corner as I would take a bite, and there would always be a habanero is the hottest one they could grow hidden in there somewhere, and they just got the biggest kick out of it. So I'm like, all right. So I started kind of paying back, and I learned it. Having fun with hot stuff, it's always a good time.
And if you can't have fun with hot peppers, come on.
Yeah, amen.
Now, we got a lot to do this morning. We're going to talk about some more stuff. Peaches is going to take us through all of his spring things that are coming up and what we need to be doing. But just stay where you are. Get some more coffee. Come back around. Don't go too far. Good morning. Now we're awake. Thanks, Lance.
It was
Thanks,
either that or
Lance.
Good Times, the theme song. So
We appreciate your choice in that case. Fun day, y'all. This is one of those times of the year when you got to make a plan, and if you get behind, you got a couple of weeks to hurry up and get with it. I have not even thought about pruning ornamental grasses, and let's face it, they're all plumed out. Their seeds are flying across the neighborhood. How do you manage those, Mark?
I have vowed this year I'm enjoying the plumes. I'm going to leave them till the last
You're going to
minute. They're
reseed
so
the entire
pretty.
neighborhood. They're beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, well, the 3 clumps I'm talking about.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I looked at them the other day, and I'm like, I could cut those, but I'm not. I'm going to leave them. And I'll wait. Maybe mid-February before they start pushing out some new growth, and go out and neaten them up a little bit.
I think that's really the point, is to not let that new growth get going too tight
Right.
before you do the pruning, because you end up cutting into next year's growth.
Right. So I will eventually.
For those of y'all who are checking us out at supertalk.tv, yes, that is in fact Mark's Mardi Gras Nutcracker, which are words that don't belong in the same word salad at all.
Hey.
But it's pretty cute.
I think he's holding a king cake somewhere. Yeah.
He's pretty cute, I got to tell you.
Look, I had to deflate him last night before the storm came through.
You didn't want him to
He's-
blow off down the street?
Yeah, he's well, like the snowman did.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's back upright and ready for Mardi Gras. Absolutely.
That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Well, for those of y'all who are trying to figure out how you're going to get to Mardi Gras, it's early. It's February the 17th this year,
Yes.
so you better make some plans.
It's very early. It's very early. One of my neighbors was commenting on the Mardi Gras decorations. Said, Mardi Gras is not till March. I'm like, you haven't looked
You have
at
to
the
look
calendar.
at your calendar, yeah. But of course, in terms of the religious celebration of the actual Mardi Gras, Three Kings Day and all that has already begun. We're in king cake season, full flung. I don't know if you've, one of the things that's cool about the Deep South is that no matter where you go, somebody's going to say, "Have you tried king cake?" And they'll
Right.
bring out some,
Yeah, I'm amazed. I went through the first, 30 years of my life not even knowing what they were, and now it's like,
It's a revelation.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Nothing like some crunchy in your icing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Exactly.
And then you get the little plastic, little baby. I've caught
yes.
that one time. It
Yes.
was years and years ago. It was probably like 2001. It's the only baby I ever got, and it was a king cake that Miss Pat Fordyce had brought to the office.
And you got the baby.
And I cut right into it and got. I think the knife hit the baby.
And she said, "Okay, the next one's on you."
That's right. Yeah.
There you go.
But that was my first foray into king cake.
What a
Yeah,
lovely
really.
lady.
Oh,
She
well,
was
yes.
sweet. Enjoyed
She
her very
really
much.
was.
And well, now let me ask: is there a? I know there's different styles of king cake depending on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the cream cheese in them. You got the ones that have the just basic breading and the icing on
Mm-hmm.
top. What is down in New Orleans? What is the staple? Like, what is the number one king cake?
Oh, I don't know. You can go over to the
Yeah.
grocery store by me or the king cake place or any of that, and you're going to find 6 different kinds.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I've always
You know.
said people are very
There's
passionate.
some made out of donuts.
Oh wow! I would like to try that.
I thought you would. That sounded. When I saw that, I thought, "Oh, that sounds like you."
Yeah, the donut world is one that I really enjoy. But of the beignet world too. I'd love to have one made out of beignets.
Was a
See?
matter of fact, that music a while ago, and the fact knowing where she is, and I heard that music, and all of a sudden this room smelled like powdered sugar.
Yeah.
It's like,
See, it's
My
just
favorite.
everywhere.
I was
It's
like, sugar.
incredible.
wait a minute,
That's right. How did that happen?
somebody's pumping in Cafe Du Monde, and I don't even
But
know
that's
who.
what, and that's really the great joy of having things that you don't eat every single day.
Yes.
That's why that delicious fresh tomato tastes particularly delicious, because you got to wait for it. The powdered sugar on things is the same kind of deal. You don't get that on everything.
And
So
deviled eggs fall into that category also.
They'll push that whole same memory thing going right into your
Speaking
your
of
aura.
yeah,
you know.
speaking of deviled eggs, do you like the little cayenne powdering on top? Is that some people say it's just decoration.
I use-
almost
I
can't eat them
use-
without the little dust.
I use paprika and slap your mama.
Oh man,
Slap your mama.
yeah, I love the little
That
differences.
gives it just
yeah,
a little.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I could
And
eat a
that's
whole
the
tray of
cayenne.
those.
Yeah, that's the cayenne and the
Cayenne.
slap your mama. I'm not the world's largest deviled egg fan, although I do make a really good one, and I am a paprika and cayenne person.
Yes.
But it depends on who you're bringing them to. There's some people that cayenne is the turn off, so you have to be careful.
One of my colleagues, because I was elected to do deviled eggs for all of our holidays
Yes.
celebrations, sent me a recipe for deviled pickles, where you stuff the pickles with.
Yes. Oh no.
I haven't really dived into it to see exactly
I know.
what is in the
I'm
recipe.
sure it's out there. I'm sure it's out there, and I'm sure it's wonderful. The answer is no.
I just
So this is, instead of using the white boiled part of the egg, you would use a pickle.
Use a pickle.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say no too, but who knows?
But there are people that if it doesn't have pickle in it, it's not a thing.
But,
You got
that's
to have the dill.
That's one of those recipes when you try it out, you make it and take it to an event and drop it, and by the time you leave, you can tell how good it is by how many are left on the
Exactly.
plate.
There's
No
either
one's
some there or they're
Right.
not.
You know,
Yeah.
they've never seen it before, and we're a little
That's
scared
very
of trying
true.
it.
And if
That's
nobody
very
walks up
delicious.
to you and says, "Oh, those are great,"
Yeah,
then you know, don't make it again.
Can I get the recipe, please?
Yeah.
That's right.
No,
That's
you
right.
didn't get any of that.
I love that.
Isn't that funny? Well,
I love
and
it.
then you get into the Deep South. The argument oftentimes in deviled eggs turns out to be dill relish or sweet relish.
There you go. Yep.
Sweet.
you know, you
I'm a
got to have
sweet.
that fight.
Go with both of them as long as it's a deviled egg. Yeah,
I'm a
in.
sweet.
Yeah.
Go with both of them.
Hey, I have a question about this truckload of bulbs. I saw the
Yes.
picture the other day you sent, and now first of all, where did you put that in the Santa Cruz?
I just put 2 of those bags
Okay,
in.
I was going to say if you bought all those, you got some digging to do. Buddy.
No, I just got 2.
Okay,
But I mean,
now,
you know,
those are, I wanted to. That's my point. Is like those are big. I mean, that's a huge, hardy
There's
bulb.
500 bulbs in there.
there's 500 bulbs in each bag, and if you aren't aware of how much 500 daffodil bulbs weigh, I'd say it's probably 60 pounds.
Wow, yeah,
Oh,
it looks like a nice
Sure.
workout. And so you were the muscle for that.
And if they've been out in the rain, they weigh even more. So-
Right. That's why there's a tarp over them. But you can't pass up. You know, a plant nerd cannot pass up an opportunity. There's a selfie of me next to him, but I didn't send you that one, by the way. To get a photo of that many bulbs in one spot.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
amazing
yeah.
to me. That's why I really was just kind of blown away. I've never seen anything like that. I've seen
Most
a handful
people
of
haven't.
bulbs, at one time.
Yeah.
But, one
Well,
bag
and-
with that
and
many.
When you, if you, for instance, if you went, I don't know who got bulbs this week. Let's say Winona. If you went to Winona and you saw people out planting bulbs, you wouldn't necessarily realize how many there were unless you're the one out there digging all those holes.
Right.
And so
How deep would a daffodil
that's
bulb
Yeah.
well, it's like anything else. We don't want to put it any deeper than twice its height,
be? Right.
so we don't lose it. But what works out really well in this kind of setting is, of course, just to scrape the dirt off, fling the bulb over your shoulder, and then go back in and cover the whole thing up.
Okay.
Because otherwise you're there for a week and a half planting.
I think my goal with the bag that I've got for personal planting is my caladium bed.
Yes, yes.
I
It'll
think
now become a daffodil world.
I'm going to layer those in so my bed is done for the year. Period.
Well, and that's really the joy of growing daffodils and other bulbs too, red spiders, for example, and different things.
Yes.
But because you can make it part of the perennial bed, one of the better combinations you'll ever hear about are daylilies that are deciduous along with daffodils, because it doesn't look so naked.
Right.
You can end up and have a little pretty stuff, Oh, I love this. We're going to talk about, we got a couple of things to talk about when we get into this next hour. And y'all have got some good questions this morning. Also a question about grow zones. We're going to get to that one too. All right, now we got to step away because we got people to talk to and things to do. But stay with us. This is the Garden Mama Show. It's like, forget it. We're gone.
It's like
So
the Spinks Tyson fight on some of those.
Well, there
just
are
get knocked
differences.
out.
There are differences. There absolutely are.
I
So-
was lucky enough years ago to be in Gainesville at one of the greenhouses where they were trialing sun coleus. And they all have a number, not a name at that point. I mean, top secret stuff, folks. No cameras allowed.
No,
And there was
no.
one-
They'll search you.
That they will. There was one that one of the growers, very humorous gentleman, had given a very inappropriate name.
Uh-oh.
Because every time they would have one of their, raging thunderstorms or, the edge of a hurricane, it never broke.
Ah,
And that
it's
was
a good
part,
quality.
that was part of what they were trialing
Yes,
in Gainesville
yes,
is,
exactly.
which coleus will take the most abuse.
Because
weather.
guess what? We want to grow them out where they're going to get abused.
Yeah.
We gardeners are, we talk about, oh, this plant didn't do this or didn't do that. Overall, we grow some tough plants because we have had the opportunity for folks to do that work and observe them and take, I was looking at some knockout roses the other day that are, I don't know, 3.5, 4 feet tall,
Yeah,
and
it's amazing.
have flowers on top of them and maybe 6 leaves, on each
Yeah.
plant. It's like they're going to
Still
bloom anyway.
blooming.
They don't care.
And I am the self-proclaimed coleus king.
Yes.
I can walk into it. This is crazy, y'all, and you're going to think I'm making this up, but I can walk into a greenhouse full of coleus, and I can tell you who is most likely to have mealybugs.
Yeah. You get to know that group like that.
You do.
know.
I mean,
That's why I always ask Mark.
I can
Is
skirt.
this a good one?
I will skirt right around, a few of them because there was one particular coleus that won several awards in the state of Mississippi.
Ruh-roh.
But it was a mealybug magnet.
We have that. We're definitely the mealybug world, and if the plant tends to get it, you can grow it as a trap crop so that it gets it and your other plants don't. But oftentimes, in the case of coleus, they're growing in a mixed bed anyway.
Right.
So you end up with the mealybugs just moving around, and that's not good.
No,
That's
it's
never
not.
good.
Lance likes to jerk people with hot peppers. If I could come back as a mealybug, I would go after everybody I didn't
Every
like.
day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Those
That's
things
right.
are awful.
Well, and
Are those the
yeah,
little white ones that float around?
and they're sticky.
Oh, my God,
They
they're
don't
terrible.
float. These are the ones that are.
If
They
you
do
touch 'em,
crawl, but they're
If
sticky.
you touch them, they just turn into a little black dot.
Well, they
there's
kind of
some of
squish into a little yellow ball. It's
Yeah,
it's
they're
awful.
nasty.
It's awful.
It's not anything you want to do for a hobby. Trust
It's like
me.
the ugly cousin of the hackberry aphid. They're kind of cute. They're kind of cute, People think it's snowing.
Well, and it looks like that, but unfortunately, they're actually having lunch on your plants
They
all at the
are.
same time.
They are.
Or you.
Corinne has found some mustard seeds. I love this. I love when people admit they were in a bag. I had no idea they were there. That she collected them from a plant from last year. Should I plant them now? I'm going to give you the insurance point of view. I'd plant half of them. She's
Yeah.
got containers outside. Plant half now and save the other half for in a month in case these don't make it. It's the same thing. We're coming up, we're coming up on potato time. So it's another
Yeah.
case where it's time to plant potatoes, but you may want to plant most of them and then wait till the end of February to put out the last of them, just in case the weather goes sideways on you. That's very true. Sweet peas, too. The sweet peas
Yes.
you planted at Thanksgiving didn't do so well, maybe. Well, you got Valentine's Day, you can start them again. So
Exactly.
we have there's some dual opportunities that we get to pay attention to them. Good question, speaking of what we were talking about. What about grow zone changes in the last decade? The USDA does these. The last one was in 2023. And everything moved, I think, 3 degrees further into a warmer pattern. But what they do is to measure the previous 30 years and take averages and go forward. And that's how those maps are drawn. And yes, they are averages. It doesn't mean that you can't put it on your calendar and plan your garden around it, but you can know that most of the time X or Y or Z happens. This is the first time it'll be freezing. This will be the last time. This will be all those different landmarks. They are data driven. There's not anybody out there trying to tell you what's going to happen. These are they just go measure the stuff. The first time I ever went anywhere, I'm sure y'all know more about this than I do. The first time I went anywhere that there were people taking serious weather measurements, it was on a fire tower. And they had
Yeah.
all the gauges and all of the things, wind speed and temperature and all that sort of stuff. And I remember thinking, what do they do with all of this? And then I found out that actually long before there were any kind of internet or any kind of network, there were people, they called in and reported the data. As soon as, I'm sure they did it with Morse code before that. Because human beings want to know what happened. we're all very curious. We want to know, how cold was it yesterday over there, So that's what and luckily the USDA has kept all this time, so we get a chance to see how the grow zones have shifted.
And they definitely have. We talk about that on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah.
Things have changed so much.
Sure.
It's quite interesting.
Well, when you just look at when I'm going to go back to this one, it has nothing to do with plants. My sister went to college in the mid-'60s at LSU. Our grandmother sewed all of our clothes. Her clothes were hung around in the house while they were packing her trunks. This is a big deal, okay? Huge deal. We were all so excited. And at least half those clothes were wool. They were intended
Right.
for going to football games and wearing to class and having a blazer and having a skirt and you'd melt. You would melt at LSU in those clothes. And really, almost, we used to see fur coats in Memphis. You might see one,
Yeah.
maybe not, but you used to go to church there. There'd be lots of people in fur coats in the winter. Not so much. It's just
Not
not
at
cold
all.
enough. Not cold enough. So those are the things that we reflect in our gardens. And we do see the changes that happen, but we don't always associate them with the bigger picture. That's all of those people's garden journals over the years, you know.
So,
grandmother's periwinkles used to bloom on X date.
Right.
Now mine bloom 3 weeks sooner, or whatever all those things are. That's wonderful stuff. Those are observations that make such a big difference to people in the horticulture world.
I really want to comment on that last photo if you're not watching Super Talk. So,
come visit us at supertalk.tv. This is a great plant.
I am lounging by the pool, having coffee one morning. Have these beautiful dinosaur kale in some mixed containers.
I mean, now, if y'all have not grown dinosaur kale, these things are as big as me. Okay, this is a big plant.
It is the most ugly, pretty, gaudy kale you've ever seen in your life. Tastes great. And I see something move out of the corner of my eye. Well, of course, the dogs are already in their kennels. I'm getting ready to go to work. And this pot's sitting next to a larger pot, and out of the corner of my eye, a little tree rat, squirrel, goes running up the fence with a dinosaur kale leaf twice his size. I go around to inspect, and apparently he's been having 3 meals a day off my dinosaur kale.
And the dinosaur kale is almost unaffected, y'all. This is what's so cool about it. There's still plenty of kale for everybody.
I'm thinking I need to hang Mardi Gras beads on what's left.
I had no idea that squirrels would prefer kale, because you got a lot of things they could be stealing, you know.
But, I live in a forest almost. There's plenty for them to eat.
I love that.
You know?
And it is a good kale. Dinosaur kale is a good kale. It's a real nubby kale, so if you like to, for instance, cut it in strips and bake it into a kind of a chip, it's a delicious one to do that too, but it also sautés really well. It's a delicious kale.
But I believe my reaction was...
They're going, those two words don't go together.
I screamed.
I'm telling you, try some kale.
Try some kale.
Try the little bitty leaf one. If you don't like the big fat ones, try the little bitty leaf ones. It's a great taste.
I'm pretty sure I yelled an expletive and said, "Why can't you eat acorns?"
No, he says, no, got to have something to go with them.
I know, right?
You know,
I think he was using it for a garnish or something.
Those squirrels are up there. They're crushing those acorns. They're making biscuits, and they're using the kale. You know,
that's a garnish.
It's a garnish.
There you go.
That. You know what else is going on in everybody's garden right now? And I know it's true at Lance's. He hasn't brought it up, but the whole business of ryegrass after a rain in the wintertime is one of the prettiest places to be. And you don't want to mow it, you need to mow it.
You need to mow it.
It also gives you some green for the compost pile.
Yes.
So that's the other thing that's so delightful about it. But this is not the end of the ryegrass. The ryegrass is going to keep on growing all the way straight up until the weather turns hot. So if you're not giving it a little attention, a little mowing, a little, making, if you need to do a little fertilizing, you can do that, because it's like pansies. If you got pansies, they need some fertilizer in January. There's no question about that. It surprises people, but it's like your kale. It's out there trying to grow.
Pansies, they're extremely hungry too. That plant,
well, that's true. They use a lot of fertilizer.
Loves fertilizer.
And because their roots are only about 1.5 inches into the soil, as soon as you put the fertilizer in and it rains, it runs out down past where they can reach it anyway. So that's another reason you have to give them a little bit more sometimes.
Well, and then winter annuals, you get into the snapdragon thing. Now is a good time to go out there and give them babies a pinch.
Yeah,
you'll be glad you did.
You really will. We don't think about doing that often enough, and dianthus too. Sometimes dianthus will end up with one big stem in it, but if you go ahead and clip it right now, you'll have a nice branching effect, and you'll have a nice little clump of them. It'll be pretty. It'll be real nice.
Yeah.
I noticed that the Telstar dianthus was doing great where we were the other day.
I did notice that too.
I left it as a little happy.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, look at that stuff.
Been there 10 years at least. I love Telstar dianthus.
It's
one of those things that's not supposed to be. It's like Sweet 100 cherry tomatoes. They're not supposed to be perennial, but you try to get rid of them. You go have them everywhere, even if you don't necessarily want them to be.
And trying to explain, Telstar dianthus is an annual, but.
Yeah.
And then trying to explain that to people.
And other dianthus don't act this way.
No,
they don't. Some of them do,
that.
but you got to get. I mean, it's real funny how plants get their names based on their plant parts, not their behavior.
Right.
And that's troubling for us as gardeners because, well, I don't really care whether the seed leaf comes out first or whatever the thing is that happens. But I realize that there are people that argue about that, so I don't have to. So
There you go.
makes
There
me
you
happy.
go.
Yeah. Makes me very happy.
Any suggestions on how to rejuvenate my lanky 10-year-old ZZ plant, an older plant, any older plant?
Couple of ideas.
Yeah.
Why is it lanky is the first one. Is it been in
Right.
too little light to start with? Is it pale also? Those are some of the things you have to kind of suggest to yourself. But it's also true that one of the reasons we love houseplants, and today is Houseplant Appreciation Day, is because we don't remember to repot them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if it's been more than 4 years since you repotted it, that may be the answer.
Yeah, and ZZ plant, that's going to be a long haul rejuvenation. It's not like, say, a spathiphyllum. You can repot, and in 3 weeks you're going to say, "Oh wow, that worked."
Oh no, you're right. It's going to look just like it does for a while.
You're going to need a couple of seasons on a ZZ before you actually see it tighten up because it's kind of a slow grower anyway.
Yeah, I think if you fertilize it on a regular basis, that Osmocote's probably a good thing to use, or something like that that's got a little slow release quality to it. You will see new growth on it, but it won't be fast.
There at the Jackson Airport, there is probably a 30-year-old ZZ plant.
Wow.
I think down by Gate 5. It's been there since I moved to Mississippi. I kid you not. And it's huge. I mean, it's like
It's a beautiful
6
plant.
feet tall.
It's a beautiful plant.
And another thing with ZZ plant is don't love on it too much. They really don't
No,
like.
it's another case for benign neglect.
Yes,
It really
yes.
is. You do have to keep, for example, in that kind of public setting, you got to keep the leaves dusted
Yes.
because they do get cloggy, and it's a thick leaf, so you got to pay attention to that part. But it's really not a fussy plant at all.
No.
It can take more sunlight than you would think.
It can.
Yeah.
And kind of thrives on neglect. So
Mm-hmm.
once you get it repotted and get it happy, get it stable, that's another thing. They do tend to, when you replant them, they kind of spread. You might even want to tie it up some way. I've seen them do
Just
that.
around the base so that you can get it oriented
Yes,
where
yeah.
you want it to be. I
Yeah.
can see that.
That they have a tendency to kind of sprawl out when they've been disturbed. A little bit like a Sansevieria might, if you disturb them too much. So hopefully that will help.
We're
They
now
got-
we're getting mustard recipes. That's great.
I
love
think
it.
I'm going to sneak out and do the little ryegrass thing where the leaves disappeared.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like
think
that.
I will.
I like that.
I'll be glad I did in a couple of weeks.
Well, and it will. It's another thing where, for example, if you've got an area where the lawn didn't do so well last year and you got a little ryegrass, you can throw it out there right now because all that's going to happen is the ryegrass is going to do a little of the soil work for you. Those
Yes.
roots are going to push in, it's going to loosen things up, and when you come to reset the lawn in another 6 or 8 weeks, it's going to do well.
So let me give you one that I want to hear you talk about.
Uh-oh.
One of my adjacent neighbors, we were mulching leaves. We kind of share leaves. We, have this little thing going on. And
The trees just kind of drop them
Yeah.
everywhere.
the traffic blows them into his yard, and I blow them back into mine. He was mulching his, and I will already say that this gentleman mows way too short. I've asked
Okay.
him not to do that, but he does it anyway.
Okay.
And he told me the other day, he said, I think I have mulched my limit of leaves on my grass.
Okay.
And I'm positive he has. Okay. So what would be your advice to him if he feels like he is at his limit and should not put any more leaf mulch on his grass? As far as, has he changed his pH? Should he do anything at this point to counteract that?
Well, rule of thumb. Okay, the reason that we all love mulching mowers is because you can mow the lawn and it will chop up the leaves and drop them back into the thatch, and there's a little nutritional value there, and it also deals with the thatch, with the extra cut up leaves. But there is a certain point where they do accumulate too much, and if you're mowing really often and keeping the lawn real short, you pretty quickly come up with an overabundance of leaves compared to what you've got in terms of the grass.
Right.
So let me think, and I'll give you a riser, because what I want to say is not too nice, so I'll be nicer after
Work
we
on
take
the nice
this break.
part.
I'll work on the nice part, but it's a matter of just shifting a little bit, and so
Right.
knowing why you're doing that is part of it. But anyway, stick around. We're going to talk about the lawn. We're going to talk about pruning hibiscus, and we're going to take some more of your texts. We'll be right back. He's really trying to tell us something today. There's a lot of messaging in this music, sir. Appreciate you.
Big GH there with
Yes,
cheer down.
always. You can't help it. George Harrison, you know. Stick around all day. All right, let's talk about being subtle about, hey, you really need to change how you're taking care of your lawn. The first question is, does it look like you like it? Because most of the time people don't change their lawn care unless they're saying the part by the driveway is not growing right, or this part over here is too low, or this part's too high, or this or that. So if it's looking good, it's going to be very difficult. But in terms of a percentage, if you could just get this person to drop the leaves, bag the leaves once or twice out of every 6 mowings, because usually what's happening is you're mowing it fast and you're trying to do it fast and you're trying to do it less often, and it actually ends up that you're mowing it more often than you would have to if you just had a minimal lawn. So I'm going to say, if it looks good, just smile and look the other way. But if there's a complaint from that person that says it's not growing right, or how come does yours look better than mine, I would start with just gather those leaves a couple of times. Don't let them all fall back in there. Because, of course, what happens over time, especially if you cut the lawn very short, is that after about 5 or 6 years, you end up having to go in there and dethatch and take the whole thing apart, because you've built up so much underneath, so much in between the grass surface and the roots themselves that they can't sustain what they've got. So those are things you don't want to try to explain to somebody that already doesn't want to do something differently.
Yeah.
But if there's a complaint about it, the complaint's going to be you got just too many leaves. So just make a compost area down at the end of it, save those leaves a couple of times, and that'll change things. And then that might open the door to the next piece of it,
In a nutshell, that's basically what I told him
Good.
as I was walking away. You know what I mean?
So he couldn't throw anything at you.
Yeah, well,
I
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
People ask for advice, but they don't always want it.
exactly.
Sometimes there are, one of the first things anybody told me about answering questions in the garden world is that people sometimes hear what they want to hear, and they'll tell you what you said, and it isn't what you said at all, because you never said that. But you have to find a way to talk around it and understand that they're hearing you. Just like anything else, they may not be hearing what you're actually trying to communicate. So we try to do better. We always try to do better.
It's like it's not what you say to someone; it's how they perceive it.
That's a lot of times the truth.
Yes.
And it's in horticulture especially, because it is at least as much art as science.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to balance all that out.
That's a
Good
famous
question
comment.
about when to prune hibiscus. I'm going to say what kind is it, but
Yeah.
when do you want to prune them? I'm thinking that we're talking about a tropical hibiscus. It's maybe not looking so great right now. It's in a container in the garage or something. When do we want to prune that baby?
I probably would have already done it. You know, let's talk tropical and let's talk perennial.
Yeah.
My perennial hibiscus, generally when fall, winter is creeping in and it gets to the point where the leaves are all a mess and it just looks terrible, I've had mine cut back for a month or more. If you're trying to
I
save,
like to do that with most perennial things, because
Yes.
then they're not going to create a fungus in the soil, where
yeah,
they were.
and I take mine down to a couple of inches from the ground, little mulch around them. If you're trying to save a tropical hibiscus and you've got it inside or in the garage, go ahead and cut it back. It's probably lost most all of its leaves. and all
Which is okay.
yeah, it's fine.
When you cut the stem, it'll still be green under
Yeah,
there.
cut down, half, roughly a half, and then once you do that, you're going to encourage it to leaf back out. Now, those leaves may not necessarily make it to summer when it's going to be really thriving, but it's going to have less wasted energy on
There'll
stems
be
you
more
don't
active
need.
growth going
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
at least at that point. I agree with you. I think that's real smart.
Um,
And especially because you're tired of looking at it. Go ahead
Yeah.
and cut it off a little bit.
They can be quite messy if you're. So go ahead and clean it up. If the leaf is bad and it's shriveled up, it's not really doing the plant any good, so you might as well remove it.
It's not doing you any good either.
No.
Larry's in Flowood with a ligustrum that is 8 feet tall and 5 feet wide, 20 years old. Boy, that sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About 20% of the was dead wood and has been removed. Is it too early to cut it back to about 3 feet in height? I'm thinking February in Flowood, but
Yeah.
you don't need to wait too much longer.
Yeah, maybe mid-February.
Especially things that are evergreen are going to start growing, even if they grow and then have to stop a little bit, as we move towards springtime. But usually February is plenty of time, especially when you're trying to get them to grow back, because we
Right.
want to encourage them. You can actually do that same pruning again. You may not do it as much, but you could do some more pruning again in June or something. Well, what a great project.
Yeah. Garden Mama's favorite plant.
Queen's Tears. I'm crazy about that plant.
It's got to
We
have
had
a
our
mother-in-law
trees
in there
trimmed.
somewhere, right?
That's right. We had our trees trimmed, and it has opened up the lower canopy. Oh, good. Hoping that the grass will grow better there. What would be a good fertilizer now to start the growing season to come? Don't do it now.
No.
But again, late February. This is going to sound so. You're going to probably have a better recommendation. If I want to grow a mow what grows lawn, I don't really know what kind of grass it is, and I don't care. I just want it to be green because now there's sunshine there. I'm going to go and invest in one bag of Fertilome Classic Slow Release Fertilizer, and I'm going to throw it out there every time I think about it.
Right. I'm
That's a
with you.
terrible pattern. That's not, it's not what anybody would recommend, but it will work. Because you're not trying to grow St. Augustine in this case, or Bermuda. You're just trying to get that green stuff to keep going, and then you can mow it and it'll keep growing. So,
And Fertilome does have a new lawn starter fertilizer.
do they?
That
Okay.
Yes, and it's
That might
not
help.
quite as it's a little less powerful. That'd be a good place to start. And on the organic side, if this spot has been shaded and no grass, you might want to throw out some cottonseed meal,
Oh yeah, just a little low nitrogen thing.
or you really want to jazz it up, toss it some mill organite and see what happens.
Another good source. The tropicals are doing good. I love that. These are looking really nice. I think that's over at Sandy's.
Yeah, you know what?
coming
That
in-
was the last person that asked me that question about hibiscus, and she did what I
Ah.
suggested.
Coming in and out of the greenhouse. I
Good
love those
morning,
5-gallon
Sandy.
buckets. Good morning. Looks good over there. Looking
Yeah.
really, really good. It's a good gardener.
They,
Y'all are such
Man.
gardeners are so much fun. Gardeners are so much nicer than other people.
been football enthusiasts. We better not say that.
There's some of us football people that are pretty nice, but as a rule, gardeners are the only people that I've ever heard one retired banker say to the other retired banker, "No, I don't check IDs. They've never bounced a check and they've never had a credit card that didn't go through."
Right.
Okay, now I realize the bigger the operation is, the less that is. But in terms of a next door nursery, downtown kind of thing, I've never heard anybody say that they could count on a class of customers the way people count on gardeners.
Right.
I
Right.
love that.
Those.
Ooh, chestnut oak. John in Florence has a chestnut oak. I was just talking to a friend up in the Delta about a shumard. We're so accustomed to white oaks and red oaks. There's a bunch of different ones within each of those groups, and chestnut oaks are so pretty. I'm going to plant it right now. As
Yes.
soon as the rain stops, wherever you are.
Well,
But this
I
is
mean,
really
it's
the time of year to do that.
plant trees, fruit trees, ornamental trees. the ground now, boy, there was estimated some places got 10 inches of rain yesterday.
I'm not surprised. It looked like that.
10 inches. By midweek, the ground will be perfect.
I was going to say, take a few days. It's the classic one. If you put, if you do stick your shovel or your trowel in and the dirt sticks to it and is slick, wait a couple of days.
Yeah.
You don't want to hurt, because at that point you're disturbing the soil structure, and we don't need to do that.
It's like sticking a toothpick in a cupcake to see if it's done. Right.
Yes.
Very similar.
Yes. Short mondo grass is coming up in areas where there's no longer a flower bed. Can that be dug up and transplanted somewhere else? Yeah. Today.
Easy.
Get after it.
Easy.
Get after it. I love short mondo. It's one of the best walkable ground covers, and when it does come up underneath other stuff, it's inevitably been there forever, and it's perfectly happy to go live someplace else if you need it to, because it's a very durable plant. Just love it.
I so wish back in the 70s that landscape architects had used more mondo and less Asiatic jasmine. Well, I love me some mondo grass.
It's a different look, and certainly now that we are dealing with Asiatic jasmine that's 3 feet thick, in the median of some places. I mean, it's a hard one to deal with at that point.
It is.
It really does. It's very aggressive, and the mondos are not, and that's probably why the Asiatic jasmines kind of got to be more popular, because they would grow faster.
But the great part of mondo, though, is it kind of just sneaks up on you, and all of a sudden you realize you have this beautiful stand of it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And you can comb it. It's beautiful.
I love the little low-growing solid green liriope too. That's another one that's in that crowd of plants that you would recognize, if you saw them growing, just simply because they're effortless.
Right.
And we don't have a whole lot of those. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. Shishi's, Shishi camellias. Shishi gashira, I guess.
I'm thinking that's probably what it is.
Uh-huh.
There's that iron we were just discussing earlier.
Mm-hmm. Run through that again. He may not have been listening.
Yeah, iron, product ironite, you'll see as one of the labels, is basically pure iron. Like we said earlier, it is kind of pricey, but a bag will last you a lifetime, as Nellie suggested. Share it with your neighbors, because once you apply it, follow the label directions and then maybe back off just a little bit, but you will be so amazed at how quickly it will turn plants around. Mm-hmm. You'll be giving out little bags of ironite to all your friends going, you really need to try this.
You need to do this.
Because I never once in the retail situation suggested that to somebody and then can't come back and complain.
No.
Usually.
Because once you do it, it's impressive. It's a very impressive situation.
Normally they would come back and say, why hadn't I used that before?
Mm-hmm.
Because, gardenias can tend to yellow out,
It's like so many things. If you
camellias.
once you know about it, it seems like everybody ought to know.
Right.
But we don't. We don't necessarily know everything.
Well, and a gentleman with the ligustrum, when you wait till February and cut it back, throw some iron on it.
Yeah,
It'll be back quick. Yeah.
You'll get a better quality leaf.
Yes.
You'll get a sturdier response. I think that's a real good idea. Real smart.
Yep. Iron is definitely one that needs to be on your shelf with all of your staple things that you use around the yard.
Yeah, we don't need 6 different insecticides, but we could use an iron.
Right.
Take one of those spots. I've been laughing about how many different places one can get seeds now. I opened a drawer and realized that I have seeds from 3 different seed giveaways that people did in the last couple of years. Okay, that's a good place to start. But oh my goodness, at the seed catalogs, I have been overwhelmed by southernexposure.com. The seed company over in Georgia that has things like Alabama blue collards. Now that sounds crazy to you, but I like collards, but I got to tell you, the Georgia collard variety is like Florida mustard. It's okay, that's fine, but I can go buy that.
Right.
I want to grow one that I can't get, and Alabama blue collard is a delicious collard. It really does have a blue stem to it, and it's a lighter flavor in my opinion. But unless you happen to be looking around in the seed world, you're not going to find out that you even wanted it, much less that you could get it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know what in the world is your favorite tomato. It's whichever one's doing well this year.
This is true.
So tomato supply for those guys. We should take a trip to Fort Myers. We're not going to Mobile this year, y'all, but we are going to hear about it from a couple of friends that are over there. So we'll be bringing that info to you in the next several weeks. We have to let our Cajun friends rock us on out of here, but we'll be right back. All music, no matter what language it is about one of three things. Love you got, love you lost, or something that really is just terrible that happened to you that you can't help but tell everybody about. And that's music in a nutshell.
There you go.
Susan Loosedale, what a great question.
Yes.
And by the way, Mark, who invented wax-covered amaryllis?
I am not sure.
Who decided to do that the first time? I mean, it works.
Oh my gosh, it has become such a thing.
It's a real thing. It's very popular, and it's all it is a bulb that's encased in wax. Yes, they grow. They grow fine.
I'm wondering if that was accidental. Somebody was making candles and dropped one in, and went,
Gosh,
oh,
that
look.
didn't kill it. Let's see what
And yes, you can plant that outside, but if that's a current picture, like you took that this morning, I think I'd leave it wrapped because it looks like it's about to bloom pretty soon.
Yeah, it looks like it's about to go off again. That's pretty.
And then once
lovely.
Once it dials back and just kind of quits, carefully remove the wax from it.
Yeah, the wax will dry up on its own.
Yeah.
So don't go forcing it off of there, but let it rub off. Help it rub off as you.
Yeah, you can maybe nick it. I've run like lukewarm water over it before to get it soft, and then just kind of run a pair of scissors or something, a knife.
Yeah, just
cut the foliage off, let it start new. You probably won't have flowers the first year once you put it outside, but you might.
And don't give up because it will come around.
Yeah, don't give up because amarilla bulbs, that thing, they're tough. Oh my gosh.
Well,
they're tough.
and they'll find, I've said this before, that I was lucky enough to live with a neighbor whose children and grandchildren and friends obviously knew she liked amaryllis, and every year there would be 3 more out in the flower bed, so they went all the way down the side of her house. And they're there for years at that point. You can be any kind, any sort, but they'll all translate to the garden very, very well in zones 7 through 10.
The sad part is I wonder how many people throw those things away after they bloom.
Well, the dumpster divers succeed at that point.
There you go.
So
like me.
And I don't really know who invented it. I don't know who decided to do this.
I've seen them now.
Every year somebody asks me, and I've still not been able to locate that particular source.
You can get them with moss. You can get them with Easter bunnies on them.
That's
hearts for Valentine's, Mother's Day. I mean, and it's a great gift, y'all.
There's the amaryllis world, that Holland bulb world, as they call it. They're not all from Holland, but they've all been improved and marketed through the Holland bulb industry. They come up with something. In 5 years, there'll be a whole nother way to grow amaryllis. I mean, that's what they do, and it's just been delightful. It's a wonderful opportunity. That's why we know that there's 16,000 different kinds of daffodils. That's why we
Exactly.
have, every color of tulip in the rainbow, and some that aren't even in there yet.
Exactly.
Because they do such a good job. Let's see, banana bush. Well, yeah, I think you got some troubles. Patty's in Van Cleve. The tips are dead, but it's probably from the hard freeze. Yes, it was. And the good news is that most of these leaves will get knocked off and new leaves will come along. If you find that there's any scale insect underneath, you can certainly use neem oil on those leaves. It won't hurt it. But most of those just look like winter damage to me, and it will come off. I'm not opposed to putting a little neem oil on any of your evergreens, though, at this point.
Yeah,
Just look at the temperature. You don't want to use it when the temperatures are going to be over 80 degrees, and since, that could be any minute on any given day.
Any given day. But yeah, I definitely would treat.
I would do that.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness,
great
Andrea,
plant.
that's just beautiful. My goodness, what gorgeous bulbs. That's lovely. So pretty. We're so lucky. We can
Oh,
grow
wow.
everything. get a chance to appreciate everybody's and enjoy them.
That is amazing.
It's really beautiful, isn't it? That's so pretty. We're so lucky.
The bromeliad that you posted, I love that one.
Yeah, I like Queen's
yeah.
Tears. I like anything a little bit odd, and Queen's Tears is very odd because it is the only one that actually reblooms from the same cup in the
Right.
bromeliad world. But I like the flower because it looks like somebody drew it in a fit, you know?
Right.
It's like, how did this plant evolve? I don't have any idea. We just like it.
Okay, so we have another amarilla from Clinton. There's
Oh, there
Sandy.
you go. Yeah, that's
Look at
beautiful.
that.
Just gorgeous.
That's great.
And it is true. You don't have to water the ones that are
No.
in wax.
You don't have to do
That's very
anything.
true. You just put them in something where they won't tip over.
You don't have to do a thing to them. It's
I'm
amazing.
always in favor of giving amaryllis boxes with a yardstick as a gift so that you can watch them
Oh,
grow.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the perfect garden gift. That's the perfect
really
garden
is.
gift.
This has been so much fun today. I'm going to leave you with the idea of something. Today is Vision Board Day, which everybody will go, oh no, what does that mean? Well, all that means is that you think about what you're going to do, and you write it down, and you put it somewhere that you're going to see it. So I say that's wonderful for life. It's even better for the garden. How about that? So get yourself some good ideas going. Write them down. Put them on the refrigerator. For example, don't forget to plant potatoes in February. You know you've got sprouted potatoes in there. Come on. And luckily, all of the actual preferred varieties are in at the garden centers now,
Yes.
so you can actually go get the ones that are intended for that. Onions too. There's green onions everywhere. Onion sets, onion bulbs. You know, 'tis the season. Don't overlook this opportunity. Oh yeah, okay. This was one other question that came in on my text. Why did they invent oysters Rockefeller? Do I know the story? Yes, I do know. It's because they didn't have enough escargot. That's the truth.
There you go.
Escargot was a very prominent dish at Antoine's in New Orleans, and they had to invent something because they didn't have it. So they ran out of escargot, so they had to do something else. I'm so glad they did. I had escargot once. It tasted like dirt.
Ooh, I had escargot at dinner years ago,
Oh my goodness!
and it was wonderful.
Well, I'm sure that's why they're so popular.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
But I didn't happen to have the good. I did not have them there, and I certainly didn't have the right ones, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you got some things you want to get done this year, never hurts to write them down, put them in front of you where you're going to run into it and see it every so often. Keep you on track a little bit. I've been known to make notes to myself that I never see again, but a vision board is slightly larger. It's not just a Post-it on the refrigerator, you know.
Nellie has also suggested this to me. Don't overdo it to stress yourself out.
No, gardening's not supposed to stress you out.
That's
Gardening's
right.
supposed to be the good part, the part that makes you more comfortable, the part that gives you some satisfaction. So I always say, you got a list of 20 things, pick 3. Any 3.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm writing haikus, so y'all better watch out. Somebody sent me a note and said, you're telling everybody to be a poet. You ever write any poetry? Well, yes, actually I have. The first thing that I ever had that was printed professionally was a poem. So I'm back into haikus, and one of these days I may throw them at you, so you have to be careful about that. Don't challenge me on words. You know me. I'm always going to come around and give you another one. That's because it's Peculiar People Day.
Oh, is it peculiar people?
It's
Oh,
Peculiar People Day. Peculiar can be strange, or it can just be different. And I think that we satisfy all of that definition. We're really lucky. Not everybody gets to have a good garden bud like mine. Thank you, Mark.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Lance. You'll
Of
have
course.
a good one.
Yes,
See
you
you
as well.
next week.